Hello everybody, hi. So today we're going to be looking at some text and I need to share it with you here. I'll start by posting the link into the Verbling chat and also into the Hangout chat too. Okay, so here we are. If you can, please try to load up the page so that you can read it with me. I'm going to put it into the Hangout chat too. Let's try. Okay, there we are. So everybody can see it.
What exactly?
Hello there. Can you see? Hi there. So who's here? Aliban, hi.
Hi.
Arwa, hi there. Fernando. Good, good.
I have to stop there.
So right then, hello. So can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great, okay. So can everybody see the text?
Yes.
Good, that's good if you can. I might try screen sharing if not, but I might even post some of it into the chat too. But if you can all see the page, that helps a lot. So the first exercise, let me explain. Sometimes we can have a redundant word in the text. Does anybody know what this word redundant means?
No.
Unnecessary.
Redundant, yeah, let me write it. I'll write it in the Verbling chat. Unnecessary, can you say some more?
Unnecessary, for example, in some situations, maybe more than you need.
Yeah, sometimes it's more than you need, unnecessary.
Yeah.
But you know, in this case, it's even more of a problem than that. So redundant tends to indicate that it's just more than we need. And sometimes in English we have this situation, maybe in every language, where you can add a few words here and there, and it doesn't do any harm. It's just a bit of extra. Maybe, can anybody think of why we might need extra words? Why do we sometimes add a word?
As a comment while speaking.
To express feelings?
Yeah, that's one way. So sometimes we say a word like well, not really, and I don't need the word well. And some other words like this, interjections and exclamations like this. But we're not looking at those kind of extra words. That's really redundant in the sense that it's just extra. These redundant extra words cause a problem and they make a grammar mistake. So can everybody see the power of paint?
Yes.
No.
Right, let me post some of it into the text chat as well, but there's a lot actually. I will try posting all of it, but then maybe you won't be able to read all of it, and then I will post parts of it. And I will even try and share my screen too.
Wow.
So there it is, there's a lot of it. Okay, a lot. So I will share my screen too. Let me try sharing my screen and see if we can do it that way. Whoops, it keeps moving when I go for it. My screen share is like a game. I move my mouse to the one I want and it goes somewhere else. Oh dear. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
And
No.
what about the size of it? Is it a good size? Is it too big? Too small?
Is it optimum? It is
Oh.
optimum.
Optimal. That's great. That's great. So, who said it's optimal?
Me, Sarat.
Ah, great. Can you help me then? What I'd like to do is just read it as it is. So I'm sorry, I'm asking you to read it with some mistakes as well. But never mind that. Just if you think there's a mistake, you can speak about it at the end. But let's just read it through.
Okay. How many sentences completely or just
Well,
a few?
let's see how well it goes first of all, and then maybe you can read it through.
Okay. People have been always painted their bodies. The reasons are many: religious, ceremonial, or simply for decoration. In Brazil, the Kayapo Indians paint to each other's bodies using the blush black juice of the janipape fruit. An unpainted body can mean so that the person has no one who cares enough to do it. Other Indians regard that an unpainted person as naked. Sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because of every color and shape has a particular meaning.
Okay, let me stop you there. Thank you. I just want to say some things about that reading. So when we read, I like to speak about pronunciation and words too. So two words I'm going to pick on. The country Brazil. Usually, all around the world in English-speaking countries, it's not Brazil, but Brazil. You know, there's a big river in Brazil. What's the river? What's the name of the very big river in Brazil?
I think the Amazonas.
Yeah, well, that one has different pronunciations and different stresses. So I say Amazon, Amazon, like this. But some people in other parts of the world, lots of people in the US will say more zon at the end. Amazon, like this, more zon at the end. But I would say Amazon, Amazon. So there's, but Brazil is Brazil, and Japan is Japan. Okay, so Brazil. And how do you say this word? Particular. Particular. Can you say?
Particular.
Particular.
Don't say part. Say just particular.
Particular.
Yeah, because sometimes we can see another word inside a long word. For example, here I can see part, but it's not particular. It's more like particular. 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 Okay, so that's good. Now, you may have spotted some mistakes there.
Yep.
Yep, okay, but what we'll do is I'll ask somebody else to carry on reading, and then we'll see if we can speak about what it is all about, first of all. So I'm just going to go back to the class. I hope you can still see my screen. Now, let's see. Aliban, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Could you continue the reading?
Of course. Other Indians regard that an unpainted person as naked. Sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because of every color and shape, particular meaning. A popular design.
Yeah, when you say naked, can you say naked? So this word naked is not naked, it is naked. It's very often mispronounced in English, so we say naked. Are you there, Aliban? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, we seem to have lost Aliban somewhere. So, okay, so let me go. Arwa, are you there?
Yes.
So now I'd like you to just carry on from where we left off, please. If you do you know which place we're in now? Do you know where we are at in the reading?
I think, yeah. It's sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because of every color and shape. I'm sorry. Could you put the text on the page?
Yeah, okay then. I'm looking at the screen that I'm sharing, and I'm just going to try and find it. So sometimes, let me give you a little piece then. Here, I'll give you this little piece of the text. Here we are. So sometimes, can you read from there?
Yeah, sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because of every color and shape has a particular meaning. A popular design among the Thompson Indians in North America was to paint half the face red and the other half black.
Okay, and maybe you found some redundant extra words there too. That was good reading, by the way, very good. I liked your complicated, because that word is often a bit overstressed in places. So complicated, very good. Sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because of every colour and shape has a particular meaning. So there are some grammar mistakes. We're going to do those later. So, Marco, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So the next bit will be for you, and it starts with red. So I'll take it down to past the Australian Aborigines and post that into the chat, into the Verbling chat here as well.
Okay.
Okay. So that's for you to read. Thank you.
Okay. Red Deed brought the warrior good luck, while Black gave his enemy misfortune. In decoration for a religious occasion, the Australian Aborigines use themselves traditional colors and patterns, and these are applied by a special person.
Applied, yes. Applied these colours. Great. Okay. Did you see anything wrong in that text?
While Black gave you misfortune in decoration for
What about the first three words? Can you see anything wrong with those?
Red Deed brought the warrior. I don't know.
Okay, we'll go back on it in a minute. So let's just continue with the reading at the moment. So now, Michelle, are you there?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
And didn't you read some?
No.
No, not yet. Okay, I've been moving around and I don't know who's read. So your turn next then. So now I shall paste the next part. So it goes from 4 all the way to beautiful. So let me get that over to you. Here we go. Okay, can you read this, please?
Yes. For instance, when mourners they are covered in white paint. Among the Nuba in Sudan, body painting is an art for art's sake. It has no religious meaning. It simply makes the body quite more beautiful.
And what do you think art for art's sake means? Art for art's sake. It was a 10cc song a long time ago. But if I say art for art's sake, what is it saying?
I don't know what does it mean, sake.
If something is for somebody's sake, it's for their benefit or for them. So this means art for art.
Oh, yes.
So what would that mean? When would somebody say something like that?
When Sudan body painting is an art for art's sake.
I remember that song a long time ago, 10cc song. I used to see them quite regularly where I live, and they would sing a song, art for art's sake, money for God's sake. What do they mean, art for art's sake?
May I?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's about the reason. Sorry, I was muted. The reason why you do art is not about conveying any ideas about religion or any belief. Just art, just to do art. You don't have any other.
No kind of
just for fun, maybe.
No ulterior motive, nothing else, just no other reason. You do it for its own reason, for its own sake.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, well done. Well explained. So now let's go and get the next bit of text then. And in fact, it starts with in fact. So I'll go all the way to customs here. Try to control the noise if we can. It's getting a bit crackly. And here's the next piece of text. So, Tom, are you there? Tom Nee?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Could you read that for me, in fact?
Okay. In fact, as a man gets older and less attractive, he replaces paint by clothing. Also, a man suffering illness or injury will wear clothes until he recovers. Is this enough?
One more sentence, but before you do, can you say replaces? He replaces, because you see the ES at the end. He replaces paint.
He replaces paint.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. And could you read throughout the world?
Okay, throughout the world, because people like to decorate themselves according to their own customs.
Okay, nice reading, good sound. And now just the last sentence, and then we are going to look back and see if we can find some redundant words making a grammar mistake. So the last piece of text here. Zhou Fei Yang, or Wang, sorry, are you there?
Yeah, okay.
You're reading then.
Okay. In the Western world, there is a multi-million pound cosmetics industry with vast amounts of money, which being spent on advertising campaigns to persuade the men and women to buy cosmetics.
Okay, some words for you. First of all, persuade and pursue. Do you understand the difference between two words, persuade and pursue?
Pursue means buy or go after.
Go after something, yes, to pursue somebody, to chase after them maybe. And persuade.
Persuade, speak to someone to try and make he convinced on something.
Good. Now here's two words. I want you to tell me which syllable is stressed in those two words.
Industrial and industry.
Well, you're stressing them rather similarly, in the same way. They should have different stressed syllables.
Uh-huh.
So the first one is which syllable?
Uh-huh.
Which is the stress pattern, and which syllable has the strong stress?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Who can answer that? Does anybody have any idea about stress patterns in longer words?
In
I
industry, it is the first.
Industry is the first, yes. Industry.
And
I
industrial
can feel it like
is the
this.
second.
I will overemphasize. Industry. But the other one
It's the
is
second.
the second. Industrial.
Uh-huh.
Industrial revolution.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now let's go back and look at the text, because I want to analyze the text now. So it starts at the beginning, and we'll just put one sentence up. So, because we're now into analysis mode. So there, people have been always painted their bodies. I want everybody to write down which word is redundant here.
Always.
Actually, I would change a big difference. Because is it correct to use always with perfect tenses? If I were to use always, the adverb always, I would use basically simple present.
There's no rule that prevents you from using the word always with perfect tense. I think that some people are confused by the word always, because when they start to learn English, they learn something about the present simple tense, using words like regularly, always.
Yes.
And then they learn some other things about certain words working with a tense. And there are some words which really go with the present perfect tense. For example, already.
Mm-hmm.
That goes very well with it. And so there's no reason, I think, for saying that always can't work here. So I've always wanted one of those. I have always wanted to go to France. It's okay. So what is the problem with this sentence?
Been or been.
Yes, so the word been is wrong. People have always painted their bodies. So that's correct, that sentence. So now we look at the next sentence. Excuse me while I post it. The next sentence. The reasons are many. Religious, ceremonial, or simply for decoration. Any comments about the accuracy of this sentence? Does it make sense? Is it good?
I think it's the last decoration.
Let me just say that we don't have mistakes in every sentence, so it's not that simple. We have to decide whether the sentence has a mistake or not. So can you see a mistake here?
I learned that if you have a list, you should keep the things in the list in the same shape or the same condition, like religious, ceremonial,
Yes.
ceremonial, and decoration.
You mean it should be or decorative?
Yeah.
Like they should all be adjectives. Yeah, I think there is a rule like that, and so here though, I think it's allowed to break that rule. If you are going to break that rule, you can do it this way, by adding a kind of phrase, and especially at the end. So yes, there is that rule. So religious, ceremonial, or simply decorative. Maybe that's, I would say you're right. There is a rule about conjunctions that they should balance. So you can have fish and chips, you can have run and jump, you can have speak and listen, but you can't have speak and fast. So that's true. So okay, we'll go on to the next sentence now, which is in Brazil. Kayapo Indians paint to each other's bodies using the bluish-black juice of the genipapo fruit. Some of these words I haven't really used myself all my life. So let's see this. Let's take a look at this sentence. Is there a problem with this sentence?
Yeah, we should remove the to of the sentence. Paint each other's bodies.
That's good. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so that is the mistake. Now suppose somebody asked you to tell them more about this mistake. For example, they said why, and then they said, well, what is the grammar rule that's broken here? Could you say any more at all? And you're right, we should remove paint to.
Actually, I don't know the rule, but I heard you said it's about transitive or intransitive.
Yeah. I think you're on the track there. Yes, transitive and intransitive. That's how I would describe this, because sometimes we do use a verb to something. Give to charity, but not paint to the wall. Paint the wall. So is paint a transitive or intransitive verb?
Transitive.
Yeah, that's right. We remember that the verbs followed by direct objects are called transitive verbs. I don't know why they're called transitive verbs and intransitive verbs, but that's the way I remember it, is that when the verb is followed by a direct object without a preposition, then it's called transitive. So paint the wall. And those kind of verbs can be put into passive form. So if I say, the Kayapo Indians paint each other's bodies, then that's correct. Okay, let's move on.
Sorry, what it means blush black?
Bluish black. Well, when if you study my course about advanced English, which there's one thing early on about parts of speech, different kinds of words, and changing words using prefixes and suffixes. So in the English language and all other kinds of languages, I mean every language I think, has this way of changing words by adding little bits to the end or the beginning sometimes. And so this ish suffix is used to say that something is roughly or some kind of thing like this, approximately. So if you don't know somebody's age, you could say he's in his 20s, or you could say he's 25-ish, but maybe you would say he's in his 20s. But with colour, we could say it's a kind of blue-green, or we could say it's a kind of bluish-green.
Okay, understood.
So ish can be used in some of these adjectives. So especially those kind of adjectives which are not very precise. So yeah. I've even heard people use it as a kind of word, like is it a very big cake? Well, it's big-ish. They break it like that and say, kind of big, depends really, it's big-ish. So, okay, next piece of text here. An unpainted body can mean. Let's have a look. So, Yasser, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. So could you read this sentence and then discuss it for all of us and tell us all about it?
Yes. An unpainted body can mean so that the person has no one who cares enough to do it.
Right. When you say person, try to say per like a bird. Person.
Person.
Yeah. Watch out for saying it like a chair, like person. Say it person.
Person.
What do you think about that sentence then? Is there a redundant word error? Or is it okay?
I'm thinking about the person, so that no, it's the person has no one who do.
When you read this sentence, does it sound good?
Actually, yes.
Let me read it again,
Okay.
and everybody can listen and try to feel whether it sounds good or not. When you get to advanced level, and this is from advanced level English really, then I think you need to use your intuition more and your experience. So just listen and see if you hear anything that sounds wrong. And then if you do hear anything that sounds wrong, then try to think about it more. So, an unpainted body can mean so that the person has no one who cares enough to do it.
I think we have a mistake.
Yeah? Servet, what do you think then?
Actually, I wouldn't use so or so that. Both can mean the person has no one who cares enough to do it. Or I may use just that, or I wouldn't use to so that.
Yeah, so the word so is the real redundant word, which is causing an error. That is the other kind of redundant word, which is not really redundant, it's just there if we want it, and it can help us to form a sentence and communicate. So I agree with you 100%. Sometimes the word that can be used if we want to, and sometimes it has to be used, but quite often we see in grammar books and in dictionaries the word that in brackets, in round brackets, meaning it can be used if we want to.
So it could
But
be,
here, so
can
that,
mean the person.
yeah, so that is a structure, meaning this is why we do it. So we do something so that everything improves. But a thing can mean so that. That's a form error, you see. So we find the words so that together quite often. Can anybody give a sentence with so that?
So that.
You can give one.
So that. To show purpose. So do something so that something can happen. Can you do that?
Yes, I'm studying English so that I can be able to get my master's in an American university.
Yes, that's right. So there, so that was after an action. So I can't really say it is green. Maybe I can. It is green so that it attracts flies. Maybe I can, but it's related to something that somebody did for a reason. Okay, so let's go to the next sentence now. Now remember, this word has this word about not having any clothes on, and two words which are very often mispronounced in English are these two. So I often hear clotheses and I often hear naked, but it's not, it's clothes and naked. So looking at the sentence,
Naked.
not naked, naked, naked.
Naked. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people say naked, but it's not naked, it's naked. So other Indians regard that an unpainted person as naked.
That.
Now here, that is not an optional word.
Yeah, it's really
Regard.
It must go. It must go.
Must go.
They regard an unpainted person as naked. So without your body painted, you are like a naked person. Right, let's go back and get the next sentence then. Next one. Let me pass this over. Zoltan, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, I've been experiencing something here with my microphone. Okay.
So there's the next sentence for you, if you could just discuss it for us.
Okay. Sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because of every color and shape has a particular meaning. Because every color of has to go.
So of has to go, yes.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
can you explain to us, this is difficult, but could you explain the difference between the structure here with because or another sentence with because of? When do we see this because of?
Because of certain circumstances. You have to specify the how should I put it? This is a pattern because of. I know.
Yeah, so what's the form here when we have because of? Because of this, that happened. Because
I think
is it because they're always after, the two actions are after the words because of? Here we've got the first thing before because. What is the form we're looking for here? Sometimes body painting can be quite complicated because it's explaining a reason.
Yes, yes.
For what we spoke about before. And if we say because of...
I think that because there is a direct cause. I don't know if it's
The second part is the second part explains the first part.
I think that we use because of when we have a cause and an effect.
No.
Cause and effect. It's something to do with the order. We're all agreed, aren't we? It's something to do with the form in terms of the order of the sentence.
Maybe because of and noun.
When we...
someone said, let's see that. Because of plus noun. Because
Yes.
of the late traffic. Because of his fast running. Yeah, it seems to be, doesn't it? Because of plus noun, that's useful. But, you know, I think in any case, I think we have to learn all of this in an intuitive way. And so when we speak about this, when we ask these kind of questions, we're really only focusing on things. We have to try to learn it without knowing that we know it, if you understand. You have to try to practice a lot of English and just understand it. That's good. So we're on to the next sentence now. Let's see if there's a mistake. Remember, there may not always be a mistake, so that makes it tricky. Who's going to have a go at this one? Has anybody not said anything yet?
Me.
Paolo?
Me.
Yeah?
Yes. Okay. A popular design among the Thompson Indians in North America was to paint half the face red and the other half black.
How did you say that second word?
Popular.
Popular, yeah, good. And what do you think
Popular.
about this sentence?
Excuse me.
I think it's well.
Why? You think it's wrong?
The popular design among the Thompson Indians in North America was to paint half the face red and the other half black. I found it well.
The two goes with paint, was to paint.
Or could be was painting half the face.
Yes, but was to paint or was to paint, I think that's good. Was one habit I had was to do my homework too late so that I could never finish it. I think that structure's okay. Was to paint, that's fine. I like speaking English. I like to speak English.
But it could be better if you say America was painting half the face.
Let me see how it works with the gerund there. A popular design among the Thompson Indians in North America was painting half the face red and the other half black. Well, I feel it focuses on the action a bit more, and so we're speaking about the design, not what they do. So a habit of the Indians was painting. That might work much better. But a popular design was to paint. Goes better than the gerund, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Good.
I think this sentence is okay. I don't see a problem with this sentence. Does anybody see any problem with this sentence?
No.
I don't see it.
Maybe the Thompson Indians. Can we say Thompson Indians without that?
I think we can, because Thompson... Yeah, I think we can say it with or without the definite article. Let's try that. A popular design among Thompson Indians in North America. Yeah, maybe it has a different meaning. Maybe we're then thinking that it's popular among those people. Yeah, I think both of them are okay. I think that's good. Let's think about any other Indians and any other group of people named like this. So,
Aren't you emphasizing now with the definite
Yeah,
article.
you are. You're using the definite article to emphasize. Let me speak about English people instead. A popular design among the English people, yes, it gives a different emphasis, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Slightly different focus, but it's, yeah, I think both of them are possible, and then there is a little bit of a different meaning. Yeah, okay, but they're both good, so that sentence is fine. So now let's move on to the next sentence and see if it's good. Now, whose turn is it? Back to Awa, maybe. Awa, are you there?
Yes.
Could you read this sentence?
Okay. Red did both the warrior good luck, while Black gave his enemy misfortune. I think the problem with both, it should be Red did bring the warrior good luck, while the Black gave his enemy misfortune.
Well, that's very interesting, and you've definitely focused on the mistake. That's true, but I think we can say something more about that. So, when we have an auxiliary verb, like here, taking the tense, the following verb, the main verb, doesn't have any conjugation or tense, so it should be in present simple form. But we have to consider other things. What else do we have to consider here?
The meaning of dead.
Well, yes, because sometimes we don't use auxiliary verbs at all. Sometimes, if we don't use them, it sounds rather old-fashioned sometimes, but sometimes if we use them, it sounds really wrong. There are cases, certain words and certain phrases don't like auxiliary verbs. Some never, I did never do that. It sounds very strange. So what do you think? Let's take away did and see how it feels. Red brought the warrior good luck, while Black gave his enemy misfortune. It sounds very natural and good.
This is a general.
This
This is
better.
very general.
Yeah, so here we would only use an auxiliary if we were emphasizing something or disagreeing with somebody. Red did bring me good luck. Yes. So there are different uses of the auxiliary verb, and here we wouldn't normally use it. Right, so let's go back and get the next sentence. So anyway, you found the mistake immediately. Let's go to the next one.
You found the mistake immediately.
Oh, echo.
Let's go to the next one.
Yodelay. Now, Marco, are you here?
Yes. So, in a decoration for a religious occasion, the Australian Aborigines use themselves traditional colors and patterns, and these are applied by a special person.
Okay, the word after Aborigines is use. So Australian Aborigines use themselves. Now,
Use themselves.
What do you think about this sentence?
Australian Aborigines. I don't know.
Australian Aborigines are
yes, it's called.
native Australians.
Yes, yes. Use themselves. I don't know, but I think that use themselves don't sound well. Doesn't sound well.
Doesn't sound good at all, no. So what should we do about it?
I don't know. I think that the
Sophia's giving you a clue here. Themselves is not needed. Can you read it again and take away themselves and let's see how it sounds?
yes, because it's better the Australian Aborigines use traditional colors and patterns. I think that we don't have to use. We haven't to use themselves.
Yeah, okay. So in decoration for a religious occasion, the Australian Aborigines use traditional colours and patterns, and these are applied by a special person. Got it, that's good. So let's see if...
Could we use them instead of themselves in this sentence?
And what would them refer to?
In decoration for religious, sorry.
The word them, what would it refer to? Would it refer to the Aborigines or the...
The Australian Aborigines use them. No, it isn't correct.
No, it doesn't work. And actually, there's a very common mistake, actually, a redundancy mistake, where we repeat the noun. I'll tell you a sentence which is often used by people learning English, and they make this mistake. It is, what does it mean, Aborigines? And it's repeating the noun because you say it and Aborigines. So you should say, what does Aborigine mean, or something like this. And you mustn't really repeat the noun in a sentence, in pronoun form or any form. So you have to just state the noun only once. So yes, themselves is wrong.
I have a question. I usually avoid using two ands at the same time in the same sentence. In the sentence we have two. Is it okay, or should we change one of them?
Let me just read the sentence again. It's gone back off the screen. So in decoration for a religious occasion, the Australian Aborigines use traditional colours and patterns, and these, well, yes, it's a kind of nesting here. Yeah. So colours and patterns is like one,
yeah,
and goes with the second conjunction, and goes with another completely new idea. So we've got two ideas, and one of them is sub-nesting with colours and patterns. Traditional colours and patterns, and these are applied. Yeah, so you can use and more than once. Even in a list sometimes, for emphasis, you can sometimes use a couple of ands, two ands, but here it's perfectly logical.
Okay.
So, where are we? Let's see. What's on my cut and paste buffer at the moment? For instance, yes. So, Nabor, are you there?
Yes.
Your turn then.
Okay. For instance, when morning
is. Do you know this word, morning?
No, I don't know.
Who can explain this word?
It's kind of action that you do beside, like, cemetery, when someone is there, like showing your
grief and sadness, yes. Yeah. So they haven't been out for ages because they're at home and they're still in mourning. They're still very sad about their loss of a loved one, mourning. So, okay, the sentence then. What do you think?
So okay, wait. I didn't read it. For instance, when mourning, the mourners, they are covered in white paint.
Yeah, when you say covered, let's get an sound. Covered.
Covered.
In French it might be oo, but something like that. But in English it's covered.
Covered.
So, is there a redundant word in that?
Sorry, I still don't understand what is mourning.
Mourning is...
And mourners. Also, I think, well, they're related, but...
It's what you do to show that you are, when you're very sad because you've lost somebody has died. So, you are not continuing with your ordinary, normal life. And maybe you even go to the graveyards and visit graves. So if you lose one of your family, then for a while life is not normal. Everybody's very, very unhappy, stays at home, mourning.
Okay, I get it.
Now there's a redundant word. Where is it? For instance,
I think the mourners are not necessary.
The mourners, that's a noun. The people who are mourning, So we're not really repeating the word because the first is a verb, gerund verb. When mourning, the mourners, they. Now look at that word they. What is it?
Yes, I think they refers to mourners, or
it does. They refers to the mourners. So we're repeating the noun.
Yeah.
That's what we were just speaking about. So how should we read it?
You have just explained about the double usage of the noun and the pronoun.
Yes, it's exactly what we were speaking about just now. That's right, Zoltan. We were saying that. And it's actually a common mistake. Do you know Hercule Poirot?
Yes.
He speaks English on British TV, and he speaks English absolutely fluently, albeit with a French accent. But strangely, for some reason, he has some habits which other language learners don't have. He always says simple words in his own language. For example, merci, or and which I can't understand. I think it's to tell everybody that he's French. And the other thing he always does is this mistake. The criminals, they were. He always does this because it's Agatha Christie's way of telling us that he's not really English. He's not French, actually, is he?
He's a Belgian.
He's Belgian, yes. And he always makes a point of that because sometimes English people make a mistake and say, you're French. And no. He says, I'm Belgian. And I'm a Belgian. Now, the Scottish people have a similar problem, don't they? Because, you know, you shouldn't call a Scottish person English. You can call them British because they are British. But if you call a Scottish person English, they will probably correct you and say, no, I'm not British, I'm not English, I'm Scottish.
Do they not want to separate themselves?
They do. They have their own identity. Everybody has their own identity within the union. You know, it's like, I suppose it's similar to calling a Californian a Texan. He'll say, no, I'm not Texan, I'm Californian. Because they're from a different state. So you can say they're American and that's fine, but you can't mix the states up. So England, remember, is one of the countries of the Union. Anyway, now, let's go to the next sentence then. I don't think we're going to have time to do this in 5 minutes, are we? So we have to go and double up, I think. So let's go for a larger chunk. We'll try and do it in 2 chunks to end the lesson, because we need to pick up a bit of speed. So we may have more than one mistake here. Zoltan, can I go over to you?
Yeah, thank you. Among the Nuba in Sudan, yes, body painting is art for art's sake. It has no religious meaning. It simply makes the body quite beautiful, I think. Can you say it makes the body more beautiful?
I think so. I think here you can actually, I was just thinking about that. You can take either of them.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, as a man gets older and less attractive, he replaces paint by clothing. He replaces paint with clothing.
I think you can say either way. By clothing, with clothing. Okay.
Also, man suffering illness or injury will wear clothes until he recovers.
So, which definite redundancy errors do we have? I go with the Sudan. They sometimes say the French Sudan, but the Sudan, is okay. The Netherlands, the Sudan, the Ukraine, the Philippines, that's okay.
It makes the body quite beautiful, yes. It's the fact that it simply makes the body quite beautiful or more beautiful.
I think more beautiful makes more sense, but you're right, you can take away either of those.
More beautiful, it emphasizes and it shows that it makes more beautiful, yes.
Okay, so now to finish off, just 2 minutes, we've got the end of it. So let me paste the end of it. and then we've just about finished. So let's see who else is here who can really do this. Claudia, are you there? Claudia? No, she's not even looking. So, Claudia, hello, Claudia.
She's taken off.
Claudia, hello, are you there? Hello. Nice to not hear you. I can't hear you, sorry. Can't hear you. You're absolutely quiet.
Oh, yes, I am. Now
there you are, there you are. You're back again. So can you just finish off for us throughout the world?
Sorry, I have to, do I have to read it or?
I think you'd have to read it in 1 minute and find a word which we don't need. That's a lot.
Okay. How the world, because people like to do themselves according to their own customs. In the Western world, there is a multi-million-pound cosmetic industry with vast amounts of money, which being spent. Is it here? Maybe
which word are you going to take away? Vast amounts of money.
Vast amounts of money, which being spent on advertising campaigns to. Maybe
okay, you've got the mistake. You found the mistake. You started saying which being.
Which being? It sounds me a little bit strange.
Okay, so you need to take away either which or being. Which one of those two words?
I would take away being.
Let me read it without being. Throughout the world, because people like to decorate themselves according to their own customs, in the Western world, there is a multi-million-pound cosmetics industry with vast amounts of money which spent on...
Oh, no.
Ooh, so it's the other one we need. It's the other one. So there's vast amounts of money being spent. Vast amounts of money being spent, yeah.
Is it spent?
So it's spent.
You focused on the mistake immediately, though. That was very impressive, especially as you were off somewhere else at the time.
Yes, I was distracted, sorry.
Okay, then, that's the end then. And I'm going to do something else about collocations and vocabulary now. So I'm going to start another lesson. So
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very